Thank you very much. Maybe we can kick it off with a brief introduction. Happy to learn more about yourself and the company.
Well, it's a small startup out of the Pacific Northwest. You may have heard of them, Microsoft. I think I've been there 24 years. I've been in the industry for an awful lot longer, as you can imagine. So my name's Andrew Reid, and I'm responsible for the partner ecosystem within Microsoft in Switzerland, with a very strong focus in terms of how we drive the startup ecosystem over the past 5 years. So delighted to be there. So, and yourself?
Yeah, my name is Max, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of Decentriq. Our customers very often describe us as the Switzerland of data. So when you see here B2B platform and SaaS, it's actually SaaS. We redefined it a little bit and call it Switzerland as a service. So our customers use our platform as a data collaboration platform to jointly run computation. There is a reason why we sit here with Microsoft today. We leverage a certain part of the Azure cloud since day zero of the company, and so far also benefited support in regards to marketing, sales, indirect venture capital, and of course technology and engineering and product. So Andrew, Microsoft right now is a lot in the news for many things, but mainly for a two-letter word called AI. So I'm very curious to see how you regard the impact of AI on the industry and to learn more about your personal and open view on things.
So I'm very fortunate. I've actually been, and I've lived through a number of significant changes in terms of technology adoption curves. You know, I've actually been through that drive of proving credibility of Microsoft as an organization in the desktop, from credibility of the desktop to credibility in the data center, from moving credibility to the data center to actually the world we find ourselves in today. And I've never been part of a wave of technology change that has captured the entire imagination. Where it's not only businesses that are talking about the power and the drive that you can get from AI, but it's actually you go and have that conversation with the barista, you go and walk into the airport, and everyone's aware of what's there and the potential and is explored. And I think that as an opportunity is incredibly important for new businesses. I think it's incredibly important for the economy in Switzerland, and it's foundational to how we continue to grow and develop our products. So I think it's an amazing time to be in what is absolutely an amazing industry. So Max, let me spin it back to you and Decentriq, because I think it would be good to understand your journey so far with Microsoft and how you see the road ahead.
Yeah, of course. I think our journey with Microsoft is a bit different because although we are a Swiss company, we started it off with a relationship to the mothership in Redmond/Seattle, because we met some of your colleagues that work on the product development at an open source conference in France, literally 3-4 weeks after having registered the company. And of course, as a deep tech company, we first had to build and develop the platform, and there it was of course very good to have a direct connection to a leading hyperscaler. But then once the platform was ready, you know, it gets even more difficult. You have to sell it. Yep. So we underwent the Microsoft for Startups program, but nowadays are part on the general partnership program. And it's no secret that we work very actively on certain clients because we target large enterprises. Just this morning, we had an event together with Microsoft and UBS at your offices around the corner. We do joint marketing. We do, of course, also on the product side, are in constant exchange. And yeah, I think we also wouldn't have received this kind of funding without Microsoft, because the last funding round we did, 15 million from Silicon Valley, was managed via Microsoft, because someone reached out to you from the big funds and made an introduction to us, and it was basically already the technology due diligence was done, and this is of course exciting. Going forward, right? I mean, we keep going forward on the product innovation. That means also you spoke about AI, that on the collaboration, I mean, what you need for AI, you need data. So this is an extremely exciting route ahead. Then, of course, go to market. The nice thing about working with global companies, you can also do global rollouts, which are a lot of fun, but they're also extremely difficult. So you need to have an infrastructure partner that helps you enable that. And lastly, selling to enterprises is never easy. It's always cumbersome. We are a young company, small company here from Zurich, so sometimes it also helps to have an older uncle with us in the call, just to make sure that people also have just gain trust and see that we are a drop-dead serious business.
And being that older uncle, I will just continue the question and ask you that one about how do you see what's ahead, because I think that that's the point in terms of as you look forward.
Yes, so we clearly see that over the last 10, 15 years, a lot of companies invested into their own data and like the whole infrastructure, but now it's about working together. Being on the media side, I mean, if you already live in Switzerland, chances or are here, chances are 99% that some of your data already was processed via our platform. We work together with some of the biggest publishers. We're also active in pharma. We'll now process more than 1 million patient records for cardiovascular disease research. On the defense side with the military, and going ahead, it's really that it becomes much more fluent for all these enterprises that already leverage the cloud, but combine the data while remaining fully in control in a zero trust environment, complying with the highest data security and data privacy requirements that are out there.
Brilliant.
So, of course, you have we have a lot of VCs and private equity firms in the audience, so they very often speak about deal flow. I think also for Microsoft on the partnership side, I would assume a lot of especially young companies want to work with you. So how do you decide, with which ones you work together, maybe invest a little bit more resources than others? Because, it's very often early days with the companies.
And very much I'm always interested, and we're always looking for new companies early and to engage in that conversation from the outset. For me, it's one of the key drivers. It's about that democratization of technology, and that which is one of the core pillars of Microsoft's drive, is that making technology available to everyone. So it's very much about what can we do to make the platform available, what can we do to make the resources available within Microsoft available to everyone. We recognize that all startups need time, access to money, access to customers, and access to an ecosystem. Obviously underpinned by a fantastic hyperscale platform, naturally. And it's actually, we open the door to everyone and we welcome everyone. And then it becomes actually quite a natural self-selecting process. We use a lot of the team within Microsoft as a whole in Switzerland to support and to mentor the community. And it then comes down to what always happens in this industry. It comes down to personal relationships, ultimately, that drive it. So from your perspective, Max, what differentiates working with Microsoft to your relationship with other partners?
Yeah, I mean, of course, we also work with other partners, but more industry and vertical specific. So I was mentioning like the media case around the end of third-party cookies coming up next year. It's public that we also work with Publicis, one of the biggest media agencies in the world, which is very close to our buying personas. We also work with some of the consultancies on the go-to-market, but we took this decision to focus on one hyperscaler, because, as Andrew mentioned, at the end it's people's business. You have to have a relationship that people go the extra mile for you and win those customers, win those investors, and it was about a year ago, another startup founder asked me, so why don't you go multi-cloud and you get then all the much support? And I said, I currently have the resources for one partner to focus on. I just have time for one girlfriend, and I think this really pays out in the long run, assuming that the business incentives are aligned, right? I mean, if you are selling into large enterprises, if security, privacy, global reach is important for you, then I think it's a good decision to commit to one partnership.
Wonderful. That leaves me just to say thank you for the partnership, Max. I look forward to what we can achieve together going forward.
Thank you very much. All right.
Thank you.